Meade County, Meade Truth Podcast. We got a special guest tonight. With us is David Pace and Mark. We got a lot to talk about tonight.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about what it is today. Today's Groundhog Day.
I know. It's going to be cold, isn't it?
Did you watch Puxatawny Phil this morning?
Well, I got a new routine, so I got to, herd the cats and then get out. But I saw him. I saw anxiously waiting. That crowd looked half lit, though.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know what was keeping them warm, but I didn't see any fires going. I can tell you that.
I think if he didn't see a shadow, they were getting all getting free beers, what they said this morning on Fox News.
Oh, yeah. So then they were lit by the time it was over. So what was so I guess if they were lit, then that means he probably saw a shadow, right?
Well, no, if he didn't see a shadow, I think they were going to get free beer. They had to pay for their beer. Either way, they were getting lit. So
yeah, I got it.
It looked like he saw a shadow. So 6 more weeks of winter. So.
No, Dave, how's that going to impact things around here?
It's not good if it's like it's been the last few days.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I still got a little patch that's right outside my door that I avoid. I'll step in the grass because I couldn't break it up off I got that gravel concrete stuff and it just gets in there and it's.
Yeah. When David and I walked up here earlier and David said, "Hey, watch them steps." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about our porch here being covered." So yeah, we had to.
And we're not talking about covered porch. We're talking covered in ice.
We're talking about ice covered.
That's like body parts in the arena from the fair. When he said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Going out over the radio, that would never sound good, right?
That's right.
Yeah, no. Thank goodness this is all like free spin. I guess we can say whatever we want unless somebody's offended and then they block us. But
yeah, that's true. That's true.
We keep it clean here.
But after I was watching it this morning, I was thinking, where does Groundhog Day come from, right? So I did a quick search and I got this off. I just pulled something off of Wikipedia. I know Wikipedia is not necessarily gospel or anything, but
it changes.
Yeah. So it says that it's the origins of Groundhog Day lore seems to come primarily from the Pennsylvania Dutch, who brought it from German-speaking areas of Europe. And what caught me is the first animal that predicted the end of winter was actually a bear in Germany, and then at some point it moved to a badger. So I don't know. So they obviously have some in the United States it's a groundhog. Over in Europe they have bears and badgers. So predicting the end of and I guess it comes down. They say
every time you say badger, all I think of is this is the honey badger. It is. No, I'm just kidding. I can't do that. It's an old YouTube video. Sorry.
But anyway, it's a interesting, how these things come about, and it actually focuses around a Catholic, an Orthodox Catholic holiday or holy day of Candlemas. I think is what it's called.
It was 137 years, right?
Something like that.
It's significant.
Yeah, I mean, it's been
Americana.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely become part of the American lore.
Yeah,
but it's just kind of neat how those.
The only thing
it's fun to celebrate little things like that, don't you think?
It looked like a Trump rally in Pennsylvania. I'm just kidding.
It does get a lot of people involved.
It does,
and not anybody pays any attention. They listen to see what it says. Whether it's kind of like our. Guy from Irvington, everybody wanted to hear his what his prediction was for the winter.
Yeah,
it kind of makes me wonder. I was like, what can we have from Brandenburg that that we can?
I'm telling you, we need to create.
That, right?
Listen, I'm telling you, we could have. I mean, I think Sheriff does a great job with for the kids. I think he does a tremendous job talking about. The young child that lost his life, I forget the name of it, but I went to that event this year first time, and he gets all of these groups together there at the park down there on the riverfront. And
you're talking about Tucker?
Yeah, Tucker's Day. Tucker Days.
Thank you. His son. It was his son.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. So, but it's a great event. But that event is well known in our county. But I still think that Meade County is a shining star in Kentucky, and there's so much more we can do with that riverfront. They do the what's the thing we went Fancy Farm, right? And they do that event every year. It's like
down in the Paducah area.
Yeah, that's right. So that's known in Kentucky. I think there's a mark waiting to be made in our little special cut of the pie of this beautiful America right here in Kentucky and Meade County.
Well, you do know that this is the 200th year for Meade County, so there is be a bicentennial event. And when we have Annie, when we do it from the Chamber Industrial Authority office, that'll be something she'll really talk about, because a lot of big plans for, I think it's May 15th is the date, and it will be downtown. So quite a bit of things to go on for the 200-year anniversary.
That is awesome.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was trying to find it real quick before I came on, because I was trying to think of upcoming events.
So, I was just thinking to myself, because I took the whole family down to Jailhouse Pizza the other day. A little slice of pie, right? When you go down there, there is so much we could do with that area down there. And the businesses that are coming up right now that are trying to, re-spark that light. I got to give my hats off to the Meade Chamber for helping encourage some of these businesses. I think y'all gave out a scholarship to, is it the Creamery or the...
This one is a portable. They move around ice cream scenario. It's not the Creamery, but they actually are trying to buy a golf cart.
Oh, okay.
Where they'll be mobile.
Okay, so that's very cool.
I read the other day the Creamery is closing permanently, right?
Yeah,
So
I did hear that.
Really?
Yeah, they decided that they needed to spend some time, more time with family and such. So they've decided not to reopen this year. So
wow, I didn't know that.
it's kind of sad, because I think a lot of people were really, I think a lot of people supported it. I don't know. I don't know what their numbers were or anything like that, but it seemed like there were a lot of people going in and out. So.
Yeah, I think they made one of the small businesses of the year too for
they did
last year. Yeah, so we were there at that event, but. So, you were talking about history and today in the Punxsutawney field, but you were going to tell us a little bit about some things that happened in history this time frame.
Yeah, so this date in history, an interesting little point here is in 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed and ended the Mexican War. And for those that may not be familiar, that's what extended the U.S. Boundaries all the way to the Pacific. Gave us California, Nevada, Utah, and then also parts of New Mexico and Arizona. And then another fact that's probably relevant today is the fact that it pushed our border down to the Rio Grande. Oh, Texas also came out of that. So. But they're all the.
Yeah, don't you remember the Alamo, baby? Come on now. I'm just kidding.
Well, I just left it off my list there because Texas was its own republic and all that before, and all that. So, but eventually, it pushed it all the way down to the Rio Grande. Basically, it gives us our borders that we have today.
Speaking of borders, there's a lot of talk about borders in the news.
There's a lot. Yeah.
There was some national stuff. I don't want to really go into all that, but I will tell you this. I remember as a boy living in Texas. My grandfather lived down in Odessa. All right, that's dry, barren oil barren land, I should say, and barren for all the oil barons, and barren because there's just nothing there but desert. But we would go down to Comstock, Texas. They had a little trailer house in some trailer park, but his bass boat was down there, and we would go at where the Pecos meets the Rio Grande, and we would drop in there, and we would fish that river all day. We would come out with hundreds of bass and schools and all this stuff. You just throw lines out and just keep running up and down the river. But it was interesting because you could see the hieroglyphs of the Indian culture and all that other stuff that had settled that area from, billions of years ago, whatever, millions of years. And we would catch tons of fish. If you try to do that today, you're going to get shot by the cartel. You know what I mean? The night and day difference between where we've come from to where we are now with border security is ridiculous.
There was wasn't there like a cartel shooting like across a lake that's probably in the same area?
Yeah, it shares the border. The border goes across the lake. It's weird. I think there's discussion about submarine traffic underneath the lake, all that other weird stuff. I mean, hey, if you want to get evidently the drugs are coming in the country because there's people dying of fentanyl everywhere. So, but I had said this on the last show, and I know you don't often watch Dave, but unless you come on and then you go watch it again, but that's okay. No, but I said, it'd be really cool. I said, Troy Coke can make national news. You know what I think he should do? I think he should proclaim that you can't buy a piece of land in Meade County unless you are a United States citizen. You can't be a business or owned by a foreign entity and buy a piece of land in Meade County. What do you think? I think it'd make national news Because, in Mexico, you can't buy a piece of property in Mexico and have full ownership unless you are a Mexican national. Did you know that?
I've heard that. I did not, for sure.
So if you can come across the border illegally and buy up all our land, and the only other reason why I say that is because of China. China has bought up a lot of American farmland through corporation and industry. And I think, heck, you remember the problem we had when we couldn't buy masks? Because they were all made in China. And I'm like, what are we going to do when everybody owns all the land and we the people no longer own it? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's an interesting thought. I mean, I hate to ever go down that trail myself, only because, I want if you have the money to be here and you're here legitimately and maybe you're on a track. I don't want to go into.
I said a U.S. citizen.
No.
You could become a U.S. citizen.
But I'm saying if you're, you can't become a U.S. citizen, but you can't buy the land until you are. So you're talking a 7 to 14 year, process, right, to get there. So that's, I don't know if we need to go that far, but I've had that thought myself. I have, because there's a lot of things out, there's a lot of things out there that kind of makes you wonder.
Because I've shown a lot of property to non-American citizens in this county, even.
Yeah.
So, that's just something.
I don't want to get you in trouble. Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you really wanted to make a statement coming out of the gate,
these are not David Pace's opinions.
No, these are
not really even our opinions. It's just that we're kind of opening a discussion.
We're not baiting him into a conversation either. No. So,
it was just an interesting side thought question that that we were discussing the other day. I think is what we're talking about.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. But being in the business world, Dave knows about every business, I think, in this county like the back of your hand, don't you?
Well, I've met with most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of bringing people together that we were talking about earlier, one of the biggest things that I love that you bring to this county is the Meade County Fair. So let's talk about that for a second.
I can always talk Meade County Fair.
Oh, yeah. He's always ready. It's like when you talk about the Meade County Fair with David Pace, you're almost expecting to bring out like the wallet with all the pictures of the grandkids, because that's his baby, I'm
showing up live pictures right now from the fair with the tractor pulls and all the rides and the events. Yeah.
Big trophy.
Yeah. And he brings out his photo.
Oh my goodness.
On cue.
How are we looking and what are you thinking? Dates are going to be about the same time frame or?
Yeah, I thought I would just give a little overview of
Let's
22, then I'd give a little bit of what 23 looks like for us right now. Of course, you all, and I want to start this show off something I failed to do. I guess I was thinking we were going to podcast Saturday night at the fair, but I want to thank you two gentlemen and the other ones that sat in, except for Billy. No, I appreciate it all. And I thought it was a great success. I mean, I had a lot of people.
We had fun.
Come in.
Yeah, we had fun.
It was good to talk about what went on. Some people never realize that we're there 2 hours after an event ends trying to get ready for the next day because we're talking about rain. And but I do want to thank you both for having me on every day.
Oh, thanks for having us out there. I mean, it was a great success for us, and I had the most fun. That's probably the funnest time I've had at the fair since I was a kid. I don't get me wrong. I had a good time at the fair when I was a kid. So
I felt like it was an opportunity to get your voice heard in a different format.
Yeah.
Right. I think we talked last year. There was some issues with the paper. Hopefully that gets resolved this year. I guess they're under new ownership. But the radio station, you only get so much buy time, and this is free. So I told Mark, I said, I'm in. Let's go. And we've been doing this ever since. I mean, we don't get paid to be here or nothing like that, but we share across multiple platforms. Right. If they like the content that we did, then they share it, and it gets to a lot more citizens in Meade County, and your voice gets heard. You know what I mean?
And I've told that at the fair. We don't ask political stance. I mean,
no.
We try to stay that, and
I think we kept away from it too.
Did.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what when I talked to our board and said what we were going to do, everybody would kind of like the first time we talked about coming to Steve's house and being I thought, okay,
all right, what are we going to talk about?
Every minute of it.
Yeah, but this podcast is more than just. We try to make it more than just a political podcast. So obviously we talk politics a lot, especially in the Olympic or in the
fact we had Chad
especially
Hobbs
in the
on.
campaign season. We're definitely that's if you're coming in here, you're probably going to hear some politics. But we also want it to be more about just talking Meade County and promoting Meade County and let people know this has been a great place to live. I grew up here, and I left for a few years. I came back, me, my wife, the kids, and all of our kids have grown up here, graduated from high school here. We love it here, and we want other people to know that what we have.
Yeah, it was I tell you, like a couple weeks ago, we had Chad on here just because of the topic of discussion was hitting home with us, and he nailed it out of the park when he covered it in the paper, and I was like super excited. You know what I mean? So I think we've set off to like set the record straight and give people a voice and just another avenue. Yeah. So it's we're not for profit. We're not making any money off of this. We didn't charge you to be here.
I thought I was getting paid.
Shoot, no. But I do want to give you
that check is not in the mail.
No, that is not. But
maybe next year at the fair we can have food 1 or 2 nights at the booth.
Yeah, that'd be good. That's what we should do.
I'll buy.
All right, there we go. Pork sandwiches were really good last year.
You can taste them right now.
I can. The bread and everything.
We're definitely going to need another booth then, so we can get a bigger table.
That's it. Absolutely.
That's the dining. We'll have everybody wanting to be on with us.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll have a little bit of a different setup but it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to next year's fair.
All right. Well, we'll just talk a little bit about 22 Fair. Of course, everybody that was there, you all knew we had 2 days of rain. And in fair, if you can get by with that, you probably still is going to be a success. It wasn't where we intended it to be, but we were able to make it better by getting it cleared up every day afterwards. Our total attendance, and it ended up being 35,841. Now, the Tuesday rain out was probably the biggest hurt for us because we basically lost the entire day with any outdoor activity. On Thursday, we were able to keep everybody there. 5,000-6,000 people were already there when the rain hit. So it wasn't bad, but it wasn't where we wanted it to be. We were on the roll for probably pretty close to being a record. And when I get down into, we just got back from the convention, I'll talk about a few things there and we were able to reschedule one event, and that was our special needs day. And we were able to get that in, and we had so many people to thank us. And when they got to come out on Friday, we had it cleaned up, cleared up. Yeah. It was just another great day. And again, we had all the food booths participated. We fed everybody that came that was fed as a special needs, and they're a person that works with them. And we have a sponsor that wants to stay anonymous, but he donates to the fair so we can pay back the food booths. He says they're here trying to make money for their group. I don't want them to lose. So we reimburse each one of those groups for the amount of money they are out.
Okay.
And because of that generous sponsorship. But the thing that makes me the most humbling to us is those food booths don't want it. They would like for us to put it to something else, but what greater thing than they're helping us make that special needs day even best.
So I'm not going to dig into controversy, but there was a lot of flack you took last year about the booths. So I just want to clarify for if you're listening, there was a lot of flack about fair space and this, that, and the other, and getting the right space or the right product, and some getting different than other. But you're telling me that they all gave the money back.
They wanted to. They all just denied to take it. And we begged them, and they said, look, we want you to take it. We want you to continue to support us on that special needs day. And they all want to be a part. And one of the things that we're going to get into for next year, some of the things we're going to do for next year is looking to make the space for those booths, the main 5 booths that are single booths, going to add on to the back of each one of them possibly, nice. Where
that'd be good.
A little more working area, things like that, like the course booth, the fish FFA, all those would have a little more space, and just where they can not standing on top of each other trying to work. And as we grow, things have got to change.
As a former booth worker, it gets tight in there. It does. But
it gets tight in the podcast
you work
booth,
through it.
Mark.
You work through it. It does. This is.
We got a lot more room now than we did because I was in the.
Nice.
So I had to change the podcast setup. I don't know if you knew that or not, but we're at the train station now. So when you come here, you're coming to the train station.
Yeah, we call this the train station, like on like on
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Man, if you'd have said that, I might not have come.
I waited till you got here to tell you.
Okay.
No, but
That's a running joke.
it is a running joke. But we had to branch out. I told you I took on, you're talking about the special needs. That part was near and dear to me too, because I got my mother-in-law out there and brother-in-law trying to get out there and experience that. Well, now we got 3 more littles. So the podcast studio is no longer in the
So
basement.
you need Tuesday for special needs, and then you need Wednesday for Kids Day.
Kids Day, that's right.
That's a
and Kids
fun
Day is
day.
every day out there. So.
It is really, that's the special part of that. But I mentioned a while ago, we just got back from the convention we have each year, and so things kind of got a little. We posted on Facebook that Kenny Hott was the new president of the Fair Association. Well, everybody thought that meant the Meade County Fair. Well, Kenny Hott is one of our board members, and he is now the president of the Kentucky State Association of Fairs and Shows.
Good.
And
Congratulations.
I was president of that in 2014, and Kenny is this year. And Chad Ford, who's another fair board member, is one of our Zone 1 directors. So many years down the line, he will be president. I probably won't be around when he gets to that part, but it just takes about 13 years. And then for myself this year, I've been helping our secretary treasurer at the association became ill and could not fulfill that job. So this sucker sign on my forehead that flashes most of the time.
Oh, you're just a servant, though, David. That's what it is.
I stepped in.
It's servant, not sucker.
Yeah.
Help finish the year out, and we do have. And I've been named executive director for the association to try to help us get some things done and moving forward with that. We have hired a new secretary treasurer to help run that. So. The good thing were the awards that we won. We Show Your Color Award. That's people that go from a fair board to a convention that attend all the meetings, and you go to the zone meetings. We're split in 3 zones across the state, and we had the most people in attendance of that training session, and so we felt like that was really a show that our board is really active in our fair, and not just fair time. It's in January to be there for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Then the All Kentucky County Fair Award, which is a award I'm really proud of because you've utilized everything that's available to you. And that's where we feel like from the state funds and anything that we can work for, our paperwork's on time and in order. And that's probably our 25th, 26th year in a row that we've won that award. And these are some of the things that we're hoping that I've asked the paper to do a story with me on, but I've not succeeded on that yet, but we're going to work on that a little further. And then the one award we really shoot for, every fair shoots for, is called the Most Progressive Fair. When you get to the size of the Meade County Fair, it's kind of tough to be that growth. It's based on how you grow. So we feel when we maintain or grow some, we've done really well. Losing 2 nights of rain, we still ended up the runner-up in our zone for Most Progressive Fair.
Wow.
We were really proud of that. And then I guess
you all do a great job.
Yeah.
A great job. And I know we say that, but I think it's sincere. And I think most people I talk to in Meade County, that's a point of pride for them, the fair. And I think that says a lot about you and the team that you've put together. So,
well, it is everybody. And I've said this a million times. Yeah, there's 10 of us as fair board members, 3 secretaries, and my wife sits in the window. So I tell everybody, it's not us 13, 14 people. It's the county that what makes our fair special. We've got thousands of volunteers that work in those food booths every night, that come and park cars, that sell tickets at the gate, that do it all. I mean, if it was left to 10 of us, we'd be a 2-day fair. I mean, it just couldn't happen without them. So I guess the one thing that we were proud of this year with some of the things that went on in the community was our catalog that the Meade County Fair Board produced this year, the official fair catalog, won the best in the state.
Now, is that done? That's an official?
That's official.
The official.
I brought it so you could see it again. So that
I should put that out here. Give me a zoom of that. Give me that thing. I'm going to put it on. All right, I got it. Keep going. I'm going to zoom this in on mine. Y'all keep talking.
Yeah, when that's
Look right there. That is the official Meade County Fair catalog. July 23, 30, 2022. And next year is going to be even better. Coming live.
We're already working on that.
That's awesome.
It's a good thing we're hoping for. And we did some upgrades, some changes in that. And, we're not going to say there won't be a chance we ever go back. But I'll tell you, Ship and Print did us a great job. Courtney and Matt, both there, worked countless hours with us to put that together with new tabs on the pages so we could just look at the color and you knew what day to look for. We highlighted each day. We were really proud of it, and to win that award for it, it's a lot of work.
And there's no ads in it.
It'd be kind of cool if it said join us on the Meade Truth for weekly updates up to the fair.
I think we have to pay for that page.
I'd pay for that page. I'd pay for it in a heartbeat.
We did not. There was 2 ads in this whole catalog. One by Ship and Print, and one was for
deservedly
Ride
so.
Entertainment for
Sure.
Kissel. And that was kind of on purpose. We wanted to say thank you to everybody listening to everything that was going on and being said, and we were just really proud of how it turned out. So we couldn't have asked for it to have been any better.
Sure.
So 2023, it'll be here before you know it. So it's July 22nd to the 29th. We're always try to be that last full week of July. So most people know to go on and schedule their vacations and stuff. And we try to put it out early so people can tell work I went off this week and things like that. So, and I kind of mentioned a while ago some things we're looking at. We're considering some food booth additions. Those booths are probably, we call them new, and they're probably 15 years old now. But to us, they really are new. And as things have grown in the number of people that are wanting food at this fair, and you have to keep them from being in lines that are a mile long.
And they got long last year.
Yes, they
a little
did.
bit.
We had good crowds on certain nights, and when certain item, boy, you just got to figure out. And we're hoping we can make it where they can produce more faster. And will help them. We've been working with the booth folks to try to find out how we can make it work, and all this we hope will be done before the fair. We've started a process last year of trying to put together a new wash rack for the cattle, goats, sheep, hogs, and lamb. We were going to build on the back of a barn. The first bid came in at $56,000. We said, okay. We started putting our funds together, rebid it, $82,000.
Wow. Lumber prices.
Same deal. Then we waited a little longer, thought, well, maybe it'll drop a little bit. The next bid was $110,000. Exactly the same. We did add a few things.
Yeah, we had the same. We had the same thing at church. We were, quoting something out, got a quote, liked it. It's okay. Now we have to go figure out the funding. By the time we got to the funding, the quote ran out. We had to get a new quote, and it was 20-30% more. And it's like, it's just the way it is. It's hard to lock those in long term, especially you got to go figure out the money.
I think the key now with any building is you need to know what is the cost for labor, because the materials aren't going to change. The price for materials is going to change, but the number of materials needed to do the project, that's where you're going to get the fluctuation. It's almost like you got to double bid it.
Yeah, because you have the like lumber prices right now have come back down. They're back down. From that high they had. Back in COVID or the year after COVID,
$100 and something for a 6x6.
It was
ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. But now it's back to a more normal. I'll say nothing's back.
So when do you think that'll be going under?
We hope. We've got 2 cattle shows. One will be in February and one will be in April. We hope to turn one of those loose. Both of them loose, but just like you were saying there, one of these, this barn portion has a world of concrete in it. Some of the framing lumber has come down, but concrete now in some areas is $175 a yard.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was $98 a yard. What the heck?
It's gone nuts.
What the heck? So, and we got these quarries right next to us. What the heck are you doing to your local?
I don't know if we can hand mix that much.
I know, I'm just kidding.
But we are looking at that. And we're looking at, if you noticed last year, we did some parking upgrades. We've seen some trees out where people can see through. You don't feel like you're parking in another county when you can see the people. So we opened that up, made walking paths.
Yeah, we noticed it right away. You could see, we're like, we pulled into the front parking lot there, the paved part, and it's like you can see all the way back through the back, and we're like, it felt like I was at a golf course.
Nice.
We appreciate that part, but we did fix that up, and we are looking to do some other upgrades. We're buying some new barricades that we have ordered those to help control some of the crowd at the gates trying to get in and out. We kind of piecemeal that every year of trying to put different gates up, but these will be the interlocking that you see in most stadiums or anywhere for crowd control. So we're pretty excited about getting those here, and it'll be some fun things. Well, last year, and that's some of the things we probably do a poor job of letting people know what we've done for. It's if we tell everybody, you notice it when you're sitting around the arena, but we put all new LED flood lighting around our main arena last year. And that was
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
No.
It did look a lot brighter last year than it did in previous years because it had the incandescent. That does make a difference.
It does.
A lot cheaper to run it. Too.
Yeah, I bet it is.
A lot.
But it wasn't cheap to put it in. But, that was almost $30,000 that we were able to get. We had help to put it all in. And, that's the keys to this. And just like I talked about on that Friday morning of the fair, it poured down, Thursday night.
It did.
It was just destroyed when we got there on Friday morning. But all the people, I can't tell you that enough. And I'm including you all in this.
Yeah.
The word gets out. We need help. People start coming. I mean, by 8 o'clock, trucks were coming in, skid steers, tractors, and everybody went to work.
There was mulch that came in.
Mulch.
It is not the
I'm
Meade
not
County
going down
Fair.
that road, but that was anyway. I
I'll
got
talk about it anytime.
No, that was good.
It is not the Meade County Fair. It is Meade County's
Fair. Yes.
That's
And it was an all hands on deck, and you got all the support you needed, and it was amazing.
It worked out perfect.
Yeah.
Just like y'all said, I mean, on Friday night when you came to the fair, nobody realized. But
No.
we'd been through most of the day. So, but it worked out perfect. So, we're still open for some other things to do, for improvements. We're not going to say yet we're done. We want things, more and more things done to the buildings. We try to upgrade. We still get a world of compliments. 2 things: blacktop, bathrooms. We feel like we've got as nice a bathrooms for a county fair as you'll find anywhere.
You were triggering.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
You were triggering me a second ago because I hear you talking about this expansion and this and this and this and all the work, all that's done by the board and then making these decisions. And then we show up in this, oh, that's new, or, oh, that's new. And all this is going on. But one of the interesting things that I noticed over the last several years of being a part of this county and seeing what's happening with the fairgrounds is every year you've done something new. But throughout the year, it's not just the county fair. You're like the Meade County Convention Center. That's what I think of every time, because you guys have tons of vendors and exhibits and stuff like that come throughout the year. You almost should have like a convention center show website that says, look at all these events, then they're coming and book now, because you have so much space with so many different varieties of things to do just with that location.
I carry a old style date book, and I've got multiple dates throughout already booked for the whole year on the Home and Garden, the barns. We had a rabbit group. We're wanting to rent multiple buildings, Heat and Hair, the Farm Bureau building, the Chamber Banquet's going to be there for this year. So it's just, people just don't realize the amount of stuff that goes on year round on the fairgrounds. And just like I said, I've got 2 cattle shows that'll be there, and all that's for the youth. And we let them use that for free.
Yeah. Wow.
People don't realize that. A few people say, well, the fair ought to donate back. I said, well,
the fair does donate back.
I said, we host Feeding America 12 months out of the year for free. We do those cattle shows for the youth for free.
Yeah.
And many events that the chamber, different ones, need something. We're glad to help them. I mean, because we remember who all's at the fair and helping us. And,
Sure.
That's the thing. We don't want anybody, because it's not my fairground.
You guys had Santa Claus visit the fairgrounds. I know that.
Yeah, he's come many times. We're talking about a lot of different things for this coming year. So
that's great. Oh, well, I'm excited.
One improvement I liked is, and a lot of people probably want to know, is when are we going to dome the arena?
Well, the good thing is
the Superdome.
We have discussed that in the past, but the problem we've got, if you look at our arena, it's a perfect amphitheater setting.
Yeah.
If you look around our arena with the way it rolls around, all the way around it, the problem is if it does rain, even if you're domed, that water runs to
right
the
down
lowest
in it.
point. But we have put drains around the edge of the arena. But when you get an inch of rain in 20 minutes, that drain cannot take it fast enough. But we all know if it quits raining, we can have an event. So
it gets dry.
It's not even dry. It's just the road crew. The crew you have is like a well-oiled NASCAR machine. They come in, it's like vroom vroom, and here's lots of room. It's crazy.
It's a lot. But it's taken years of experience to get us there. We're probably third generation on some of the folks that are helping us.
I think the equipment makes a difference too. I mean, a lot of technology's come a long way for a lot of this equipment. Makes it a lot faster too. So
I would be, if I didn't say, would you say that Larry Phillips has Phillips Brothers Construction here in Meade County, and he is a big puller. He loves to pull, but he actually helps us with our arena. Anytime we need it. I mean, even outside of the arena, we brought in dirt. He brought a machine he has. You dump dirt in it. It throws everything out down to a marble-sized ball.
Wow.
That's no good, and we haul that off. So, I mean, it's just the things that they do, and I want Larry to know how much we appreciate that. And we're trying to teach some of these younger folks, well, it's what you need to be learning. Don't count on us to be here forever. So things will change.
Yeah, I would say because eventually, down the road,
passing of the torch.
None of us are going to be here eventually, and the legacy is the legacy you hope for is that the Meade County Fair is still the Meade County Fair.
Oh, I hope if I've done a great job, my great job will be when I walk out that door, they'll never see a glitch. And I think we've got the youth involved now that are good young ones. We still got some of us older ones on there that, with experience, but we still think we've got a good blend of young that are coming on that will be that old someday. And of course, I told my wife, I said, she's done this the same length of time. We got married in May and did the fair in July of 1982.
Wow.
And I told them all right then, I said, the tough part of this thing is, how's it going to be when we go there and sit in that box seat? She said, I'm not coming back. She'd had all she wants. So.
You better have me on a beach with some kind of drink in my hand and a sunset going down somewhere. I'm just kidding. She'd probably... Well, so for 23, then you're saying the last weekend in July is typically the week y'all always shoot for. Yeah. So I know that, being a county fair, surely y'all look at the almanac. What's it saying we're going to look like this year?
I don't look that far out.
Well, Punxsutawney Phil did this morning.
Yeah.
So
winter,
he's only 6 weeks.
I know it. I got you.
Not 6 months.
Well, normally that morning I'm looking to see what the clouds look like when we walk outside.
Now you said you got a couple of surprises. You don't want to talk about them because you want to keep them a secret. So are you gonna give Meade Truth the chance to let the information flow, or is it gonna come out in the catalog? Or
we will come out. We get closer to the time when we know the schedule is set. We'll give you a call and come back, and we'll give you some highlights that we're still negotiating on our agenda, trying to finalize a few things. And I'd hate to say they're coming today because I couldn't negotiate very well if they heard me. But I think it'll be a fun-filled, packed array of things that are going to be back.
Very cool.
Maybe we can do that at the fair. Maybe we can go do just set up, as we get closer to time, we can go set up like up in the shade or something at the end of the arena or something like that. And
you think it's hot at the fair or something?
It's hot at the fair. I'd rather be in the shade. If I can get in the shade, I'll get in the shade. But no, maybe we can set up and we can do this is what here's the fair. We can do some sort of
I just want an RV spot so I can stay out there all week long. I'll slave labor all week long, and then I just do the podcast at night with all the goo all over me. What do you think?
We have been asked that question numerous times. You kind of joke about it, but we've been asked by numerous mobile
avid RVists.
They want to come. They want to camp all week long. We just haven't been able to figure out how to make it work for electricity, water in the areas, because we're a 1954 fairground that we've outgrown, truthfully, but we've remodeled and tried to make areas where if you start parking those type of equipment in prime parking spots, then you've pushed people further and further away.
Oh, you put me back. I got a golf cart. I'll just drive up. If you put them in the back,
there's no electric, there's no plumbing, no water, anything back there, right? So
that's key. They would have to, dry camp to make it work.
I'd dry camp for a week.
How much do they? How much do you think they would pay to be out there, though?
Well, we found out how many people they bring, and we'd have to go knock on their door every day to make sure how many are still there. Because then you got gate admission, and if they want to ride rides, that's the only way you've really got to in, because they're going to buy a ticket.
I'm just thinking new revenue. I'm just thinking new revenue.
No, you buy it as an RV package. You got 4 people. I'm paying for every night to ride the rides for the whole week, and I stay there the whole week and make it a thing.
One thing we made as a decision, it probably some people didn't like it years ago. I'm going back in the history books now, but
he's reaching for the stacks of wax from the back right here live.
People wanting to bring motorhomes in and park them where the flatbed trailers and trucks are.
Yeah.
Well, we were just a little against that in the fact, number one, took up so much front row space, people behind them couldn't see. Number two is, how do you manage who's in and out of that facility all week long and what's going on? So we said nothing that's enclosed can be parked there. If you have a tent, it has to be on the trailer. It can't be on the ground. And these are some things we do, number one, for safety.
Sure.
You don't want something sticking out, somebody, 8, 9, 10 o'clock when it's dark. You don't want some kid running through there and fall, hit a trailer or something like that. And so our goal is to make it the fair, a family fair at an affordable price and safe. That's number one right there with it, is it has to be safe.
So what about like across the street? We usually end up parking over there. Like sometimes if it's really packed on, and y'all got some really packed nights. So does the fairground own the land around where y'all use those parking, or do y'all lease them during the fairs to use those for parking?
Probably the smartest thing I ever did as fair manager was when the Brandenburg Telephone Company was going to start their construction. We let them use, just like we've let other people use, our carnival ground for their laydown area for all their steel, their concrete works. Everything was over there. So we have had a great working relationship that they allow us to use the phone company. We pick up the trash and straighten up anything we tear up. Dr. King and Honeckers right beside them, behind Bar Realty, and Bar Realty also, we park on part of theirs, and that was one of the first things we had to fix after the fair.
Sure.
They all know we're not going to do it the day or two after, but we will get it cleaned up and straightened up as quickly as possible. And that's all the good neighbors. We do pay a little rent to get the road for the semis to come in.
Oh yeah, across
the field for Gate 3, and we just don't. That used to be all those people. It's a board family that has it. But the reason we didn't want that, you've seen that gravel road from Gate 1 to the fair office. All those kids running across. You're bringing an 18-wheeler down through there loaded with 100,000 pounds worth of trucks or tractors loaded in there.
Yeah.
They have to crawl through there, and it just wasn't safe. So that's one of the reasons we changed that.
Still some come through the gates.
They missed the bypass gate, and if they're running late, especially. So
they because I've seen them.
Yeah,
out there at the gate selling tickets. It's
work days. I'll put that in there. So if people start planning that, we always try to do that. That'll probably be the 20th, 21st, in the morning of the 20th, the evening of those first 2 days, and the morning 8 o'clock on the 22nd. And that way we're able to paint and clean and weed eat, and it just lots of help. I mean, that's the pictures that I love, is all the people that come to help.
Yeah.
And I think that's about got us for 23. Stay tuned, because we will have some announcements that are coming up.
Yeah. Hey, and while we have you here, we've got about 10 minutes or so left in the show, but can we switch hats and talk a little bit about what's going on in the community as far as I know there's a lot of things you can't talk about, and by all means, we're not asking you to try to divulge anything.
Don't violate your NDA, brother.
Yeah. But is there anything that you can share as far as from an industrial authority perspective? And,
I think there's several things that have gone on. I mean, as we all know, the biggest thing has been the new core advancement. We've actually now are working on our 5th company that's already locating here that will support or take the product from Nucor. And the state told us, and back in 2019 said they are your future. And those feeds to that have been that part. And we're putting together some documentation right now. And that brainstorm of that came from Judge Koch. And we've been working on that with him. And we've got some ideas. We're putting together some talk sheets that are showing the impacts that is meant for our community.
Yeah, I knew he was very concerned about making sure that we get off to the right foot with the infrastructure. So I would assume that that's part of the conversation.
Yeah, and then we're going to be doing an update. We're going to be doing one of our first meetings on the comprehensive plan on February 16th. That's kind of an update on it to see where we are, how it's working. And, I mean, that's where I'm a strong advocate that we can't put it development in one spot. It has to be spread out.
I mean, Meade County. There's lots of people all over.
I said this numerous times during the election. I'm not going political on one side or the other, but it was clearly in the plan. It talked about the 316 and 313 and 60, that connection out there. It talked about wanting to build developments with sidewalks and sewage and all. And of course, we know there's a big dollar tag with adding sewer and water and getting water lines and stuff out there, and that's a big problem for the county, especially after recent events with water. It's great that we're adding lines,
it's
but
on
can
everybody's mind. Water is on everybody's mind today.
We add lines, but can we get water through them?
It wasn't a big deal.
No, it's true.
Yeah, but
I think that actually the comprehensive plan was my start with this show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right. It's the first time you came in.
Look at this. So I called Mark and said, let me talk to you about
That's
this.
right.
Yeah.
It was, but I wasn't picking it apart. I was just saying it's just there's a lot of people responsible, but nobody's taking accountability for it. And then, like, let's set goals and measures.
Because we were just talking about is you develop it.
Tell us what we're going to look like in 5 years.
But, who's taking the responsibility to start executing on that? Because it can't just be, it's not you guys doing it. You all say, hey, these are the plans and this is where we think we should go. But now you have to go execute on that. And
that's right.
Let's keep meeting. That's my whole statement.
Right. Don't do it once a year and check the block.
Well, that or longer.
Right.
That was one of the keys. Well, and those are the things that we kind of keep in place. So when you're reaching out, I've got the new mayor, Brian Claycomb, Judge Koch. We're going to make a trip to Frankfurt. We've already trying to set that up now.
That's good.
We're going to the Economic Development Cabinet. We've become kind of a forgotten entity at a time. We're going to work on that.
No, you need to bring more cowbell, man. Heck yeah.
We're working on some development in the central part of the county that we're working on right now. Even some road upgrades we're working on for that to make some of this work. So
did I hear there's going to be some changes to like 144 and stuff, and it's at least in the plan somewhere?
We're looking at 144 as an upgrade, maybe trying to widen part of it. Yeah. 79 it's already going to be funded for utility purchases and right-of-way purchases to Midway. From the bypass to Midway, that's already in the works. So that money and funding is already in the 6-year plan.
And Midway is where 144 actually takes a left off of 79, splits back off and goes all the way through. I mean, because 144
that'll be great for
144
farmers.
is our basically cross county road.
Yeah,
right?
but that's great for the farmers, especially if we get the Grainery, and that brings.
I was getting there.
Yeah, but it brings market to bear. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was a concern I had, because even before the elections, when I first took a look at that, and Troy told me he was going to run, and I'm like, I'm picking this thing apart because I'm like trying to do the math in my head. Okay, great, you build the Grainery. How do we get it there? And then are we going to have them running across the bypass and another child and family car gets smacked because they're hauling butt down there? Are we creating that? Well, anyway, but it sounds like you guys are like really. I mean, it sounds like y'all have gotten to work right after the first of the year. Holy cow!
I felt sorry for Judge Koch right off the bat. I mean, I met with him for multiple times before he took office to try, because drinking from a fire hose is not fun.
No.
And I was one of hundreds trying to get some of his time, and we've been able to meet numerous times and go over multiple things that we're working on. And one of the things that he's gotten involved with, which we appreciate him taking the time, and it's which we've had passion in this to try to get it replaced. When Nucor came, the one thing that we felt like that was suffered the most, we had to move the Grainery.
Yeah.
We thought it was moving from one end of the property to the other. Well, the company that was with us at that time took the money and ran.
Wow.
And unfortunately, we didn't have that. We weren't involved in that negotiations on that purchase, and we were kind of left out on that part. But we have been working diligently for about 3 years now, maybe just a little longer, with multiple companies, but we're narrowed down to exclusivity with one company that we are actually at the point of. They told us what they kind of wanted, and we've reached out for engineering. We've done some study work. So now we've put our plan in their lap, waiting for them to review it. And if that comes back and if it stays the way we like the plan we sent, we'll be able to hopefully start construction on that granary before long.
That's what Troy was talking about at the Muldra town hall, and one of many that he's going to be doing. So how is Ryan Quarles helping out? And I, with respect to Judge Stith, obviously he was at many of the meetings before, but I would assume he's still involved with the agricultural community to try to help push that. Are you getting the support you need from the state, and are you still getting the continued support given Judge Stith's still role with the local agriculture? Is that helping, or how's that working out?
So far, it's been very good. I mean, of course, we all know Ryan and Keith Rogers is his chief of staff.
Sure.
Keith has been here for numerous of our meetings between ourselves, the local farmers, the farmers from Harrison County, from LaRue County, from Hardin County. Keith was a vital part of that. I actually talked to Keith today, and
Good.
I let him review our agreement that we sent, and he's been very helpful. Of course, Ryan has made the quote that he wants to cut the ribbon on this before he goes out of office. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's our goal too. It's not going to be in Meade County. I'll tell people that right now. But it's
for Meade County.
It's for Meade County.
That's right.
And so,
But we would be. I get the politics of what happened or didn't happen. I get all that, and not to cut you off, Mark. But I think that the interesting part, though, is that at the end of the day, regardless of all the little dominoes that have fallen to get to this point, whether it's on this side of the river or on that side of the river, we've always been neighbors to our Indiana farmers. They're the same like-minded community that we have here in Meade County, and that's one of the things I don't want to see us lose is the preservation of our farmlands and our farmers that make up a lot of Meade County. Because it's very easy to bulldoze through farmlands, and we see it all the time. In fact, I talked about this one time. I don't even remember. Don't quote me, but we talk about the families that don't continue the history, like you're talking about the fair and having a young group come up and take over. But there's a lot of farms right now that the farms are gone, and
the
they've been
next generation
parceled.
didn't want to farm.
They didn't want to farm, and they parceled it out.
Some of that was cost, and that's I tell everybody the thing about that is it is right next door. I mean, really, you can't go into Indiana and not be right at the site. But those Indiana farmers 10 years drove across the bridge through the lights, the same ones that'll drive the opposite direction. Yeah. So it's not that big a deal. And it is bad that the bypass is busy, but some of that's going to dwindle away
Absolutely.
in the near future as some of the construction slows down.
That, like I said, that infrastructure was critical to one of the things Troy talked about, and make sure that comprehensive plan feeds a future.
When it's going to be busy. I mean, it is. I mean, the bypass is going to be busier.
Well, that's good.
But it's a good thing. It's a bad thing if you're trying to drive up and down if you're a driver on the bypass every day. But one thing that comes to my mind is, the bridge. Right. I mean, there's going to be more truck traffic for Nucor. It's going to be more truck traffic for farmers.
I think we should get some federal money for that.
I mean, at some point, I think somebody actually had mentioned in a meeting or something somewhere, or somebody had said that that needs to be on our either it's
on the radar.
It's on our radar, or it needs to be on our radar. And I don't know if much of that's been talked about.
When Louisville was having a tough time trying to decide where the Lincoln Bridge was going to go, they just couldn't make their mind up. I said, well, we've got a spot for it.
Yeah, that's right.
We would have taken
pick it up and bring it on down.
But we have heard 135. And that's, I should say a little bit, Harrison County's been a great partnership in this. I mean, it's been great meetings where they're a total different governmental setup than we are here.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to learn some of that, and but we've got that down.
Yeah, who the
We've been
players
great
are.
meetings, and they are kind of looking at moving where you used to go old road 11. They're actually building a new road off of 135 that'll take you right into New Albany, the gambling boat that way, and they are
really?
looking at potential how they could widen 135 to 4 lanes.
Oh, okay, from New Albany
nice.
down.
Because then it'll be, I mean, eventually I'm assuming 313 is going to be 4 lanes all the way to E-Town. I'm assuming because I mean, it is in
Right away, it's
Radcliffe.
already there.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was that when they bought it out.
We talked about that. They should have laid sewer and water down that whole thing when they put 313 in. But anyway.
I talked. My thought was, well, can't we just go ahead and make it 4 lanes? Isn't it cheaper in the long run to do it
now?
When building it the first time, then I get it. There's only some
cost now. It would have been.
Well, you know what I'm saying, right? If we would, that would have been a big forethought in that whole planning.
It's a good thing we made the bypass 5 lane 10 years ago.
That's right, because it would.
Can you imagine what it would have been like if it was still?
The concrete and pavement. Oh my gosh.
Don't know.
I mean, because we're.
I often said though, because we talked about this the one time, we said that the bypass exists because Louisville wanted the hazmats to come down a different path than to keep coming down Louisville, and I said, yeah, we should open up a toll road on this side of the bridge.
Well,
and
the bridge used to be a toll bridge.
I know. Well, we had that.
Yeah.
Jokingly, someone asked one day, said, "Where do you think the next truck stop will be?" And I said, "Ring Road."
Yeah.
Man, people jumped on that. That was all in joke. But looking down the road, that's probably not an unrealistic thought because the bypass is no longer a bypass. It's so busy oriented.
But bypass, every time you build a bypass,
It happens.
it's really there's no such thing as a bypass.
Expressway?
You're building the future business corridor for your community. So you're moving the businesses out of the downtown so that downtown can remain downtown. That's what happens every time you build a bypass.
But that's also the reason why downtowns died. Don't you remember Route 66 and it got ran over by interstates didn't you watch Cars? Just kidding. Just kidding.
US
But
60 is a lot that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't have to.
I agree.
Right, because you just have to. It takes. I mean, there's a lot of businesses that are moving downtown. There's a lot of people that are. There's a lot of people.
The fly's loose.
That was like a.
That was a big bird fly.
Yeah.
I seen a shoe fly. I seen a horse fly, but I ain't never seen a big
We're at the
fly.
fair.
So
That's right.
But I mean,
He's hanging around. He likes you.
He's a big old winter fly. He's been sitting in the corner eating. But what I was saying is, I know we're out of time, but
You're good.
what we were talking about the bypass.
bypass.
Yeah. So the bypass. Thank you. The bypass. Thanks for that little giggle. So the bypass is every city. But if you there's more people now. People are doing like more like boutique type businesses downtown, and I think that's okay because it gives still a more of a downtown. The old downtown feel.
I would like to see ours come back. That's for sure.
Especially, because you got to think about it. Our downtown goes to the river, right? And that's and there's a lot of businesses that have popped.
Yeah, you come off the bike trail and you walk down to the downtown. You got eateries and all kinds of cool stuff.
Of course, the city did turn that contract loose. They are going to tear out all the sidewalk from Main Street, from the top, from Broadway, all the way down to River Road. They'll put in a new sidewalk on the Dr. DeVries side now. The old milk houses, as we call them, they're going to widen the road. It's not going to be everything they hoped for because of cost, as we talked about earlier, but it's going to be a great start. Bill Quorum's working on that.
What's that big building that's right across from the old? It's unused. It looks like a warehouse. It's all the big stone block, and it goes vertical, and it's all boarded up. It's between the store faces and then the apartment buildings. It's right there on the left.
Is it
that used
before
to
you
be,
get
is that the theater?
tell my age, the theater building is what they,
that's been sitting there for so long. I don't know why they won't sell that place so you could revitalize it.
the lady that purchased that years ago.
She lives in
passed
Germany.
away, and her daughter has it now. And they just don't realize the shape it's gotten in. It's in really in disarray.
I mean, at this point, you almost can't save it.
Well, I
think
know,
you'd
but
almost have to tear it down and rebuild it.
I don't know that stone isn't going to go
I don't
anywhere.
want to steal Mayor's thunder, but he has actually begun some redoing around by the around the amphitheater, the old sewer treatment plant made into a place to sit. That's actually going to all coming out.
Oh.
And it's going to make it, clean it up, more parking or something on that side of the road.
Maybe
so,
that should be our next episode. We get him on the show.
Yeah, we could. Well, we should.
Brian be good. He's got a lot of plans. So
Yeah, I mean, he. I talked to Brian. A couple of different
At
times.
the swear-in ceremony, he was all about
Yeah,
it. Too, so.
yeah. Actually, he and I talked on the phone too a couple of times. So it'd be good. I could probably talk, give him a call and see if we can set something up, and maybe we can go down and maybe we can go to him too. Maybe we can go down to City Hall and do something from City Hall.
Hey, all I got to say is this was a good show. I was glad to get the insights on the county fair for next year. I am. We'll be there.
that's right.
And I'm gonna do whatever I can to help you promote it on every platform we can find and get the word out there. You've got our support from the Meade Truth, and whatever we can do to support the Meade County Fair, you got it, Dave.
I'm going to try to bring some fair board members a couple of times.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. Bring a few of them, let you see, meet them, put a face out there that people get to know, and let them see what's up. So.
Well, I got my drone license. I'm all legal now. I got it updated, but I want to get my 107 license. But I can't work for money and fly a drone and take pictures. But for fun, if it's clear airspace, I don't mind taking some pictures at the fairgrounds from a vertical view. But
we had to address that right off the bat when drones first started getting, people were flying, and I mean, we looked out over the arena, one's 20 feet over the arena, and we had to ban that unless they are permitted. So I could work on that.
I got a license.
I would say you can actually cut out permitted ones too, but you have to apply to have that as a no-fly zone.
Yeah,
we just wanted the ones that were locals that we're doing to try to
help the fair,
their truck, but we use those photos quite often. We have a gentleman come in and Kenny Rambo and them at Heartland Communications did some drone footage for us, and we use it still today on our website.
Yeah.
And guys, I do appreciate it again. You don't know how much I enjoyed all Fair Week tonight too. It's not fair weather tonight, but
that's all right.
We've had a great time talking.
David,
about
thanks for coming out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It very much.
Mark, close us out. We got to finish up with the show.
All right, guys. Just real quick, don't forget we have our GOP regular meeting on February 20th. You can meet for any GOP dates. You can go to meadegop.com, and you can look at events. Click there, and there's a calendar up that'll pop up. Our Lincoln Day dinner, just a quick announcement, is likely to be rescheduled because we're trying to fit candidate schedules, and the fiscal court town hall scheduled for District 2. I think it's February 23rd, but I don't have that official date.
We'll keep you posted right here on Meade Truth, but you guys stay tuned for more in the future. We're going to do this next Thursday, and hopefully it'll be a good show. We'll get a new guest on. So
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.